Okay, guys, I just thought I'd do a little video about these crypto bots again, just now that I've learned a bit more myself. You can see I'm now trading 5 different pairs. This bottom one, Cardano Bitcoin, is still the original one that I've had going for just over 16 days now. And you can see it's still averaging an awesome return. You know, it seems so far, it looks like I'm able to, on average, achieve over 0.5% profit a day, although that won't always be the case. It's actual trading, so that will vary with market movement. But they are mostly all averaging over or just under 0.5%. This one here, I've only just started 3 hours ago. Anyway, what I wanted to go through was just a couple of things that it's showing us here, a couple of questions that people have had, and that's what all the actual figures mean. So we'll start with this bottom one. The bot, this is the bot profit column. The bot's made 0.001714 Bitcoin. That's the profit. So on this one, the profit's in Bitcoin, Ethereum, 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 Bitcoin. So that is 10.99% of the initial amount of Bitcoin that I put into this bot, which is worth $84. So the bot's made almost 11%, but then we have a look at this change column and it's saying 16%. I just wanted to explain what that means. That simply means that the bot's made, let's say, 11% profit, but over the last 16 days, so compared to the value of that crypto 16 days ago, it has gone up almost 5%. That's why this here is 5% higher than this one. So that's just simply taking into consideration the fact that the value of that crypto has also gone up. And you can have a look at one of these other ones here. This one was started just not quite 3 days ago. And compared to the value of that crypto 3 days ago, the value of the crypto now has just gone down a little bit. That's why this one's showing the negative. And then we've got all the totals up the top. So the bots, these 5 bots I have running now, it doesn't include any bots that I've closed previously. And I have closed a couple, changing settings, trying different pairs. And when I do that, it's usually the ones that aren't performing the best. But the 5 bots that are open now have made $174 profit, or 2% of the total value that I've got in there. But on average, since I started each of the bots, the value of crypto is just down a little bit. So it's still in the positive here, but sometimes this is in the negative as well. And that's simply the same as the negative here because the value of the crypto has gone up and down. So I just wanted to explain what those figures were. I really wouldn't concern yourself with these dollar values here, or this one, or even this column here at all, really. Just concern yourself with the profit that the bot's actually making, because it's just like holding crypto. Yeah, hold crypto. You know, some people hold crypto, you know, with the belief that in a couple of years it's going to be worth a lot more than it is now. Some people roughly trade, they'll hold crypto. You know, once it goes up a bit, they'll sell it. Once the value drops, they'll buy it back again, which is essentially trading, but just very, very slow, casual trading. But what those people that are holding crypto like that don't do is they don't worry themselves with the day-to-day fluctuations of the price. And it's the same here. We're holding these cryptos, and just like holding it, we've got them in the bot, but just like holding it, that price is going to fluctuate, and we don't care about that. The dollar value of these cryptos simply doesn't matter. Why? Because sticking with my original strategy, these are all cryptos that I'm personally willing to hold long term. So day-to-day movement doesn't matter. The dollar value has no bearing on this trading either. It's all about increasing how much of, in this case, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, increasing how much of Ethereum and Bitcoin I own. And that's what these totals here are. This is how much actual Ethereum profit I've made. This is how much Bitcoin profit I've made. So that's all that matters. As long as I'm accumulating more Bitcoin, more Ethereum, then that's what I'm here for. That's what I have these bots doing, to increase how much Bitcoin and Ethereum I own. Now, the only time, see, it's slightly negative now. So the only time that the dollar value really matters is if you decide you want to sell some of that profit, sell some of that crypto, sell some of that profit, and actually realize some of that profits. And that's exactly the same as when you're holding crypto. If you decide you want to sell some, you wait until the price is high. You don't sell it when the price is low. So that's why, as far as using these bots goes, the dollar value here really doesn't matter at all. Personally, this figure here for me over the last week has varied between almost minus 400 and positive 500. This column here and here have always been positive though, except for maybe when I very first start the bot. All right, so that's all I wanted to say about that. I wanted to have a little bit of a go through the settings for the bots as well, just as a really rough general guide for new people starting. And so you have, I'll explain what they are first. So you have your grid levels, lower price, upper price, and the grid step percentage. So there's not many settings. It's extremely simple. And the bot is extremely simple. So when you go to start a bot, you have your upper limit, which is, let's just pick another pair on. Well, I want to explain this one first because this is one I'm actually trading, and you can see all the green and red circles are from trades that have happened. But when you start it, you've got your upper level at the top of the red and your lower level at the bottom of the green. You can set them yourself. Generally, you want to set them, above, previous high marks and below previous low marks. In this case, that has gone up a lot. So the grid sort of followed it up because I have the trailing up feature on. But the number of grids, 60. So if you counted up all the green lines and all the red lines, you would have 60. The red lines are sell limit orders. The green ones are buy limit orders. So in this case, this is to add a Bitcoin pair. As the market moves down, every time it hits a green line, it buys some ADA. Every time it goes up and hits a red line, it sells some ADA. And so if the market value was right down here, everything above the market value would be red lines. So when you go to start one, you need to set the number of grids that you want. And so the number of grids and the distance between the upper and lower limits will give you your grid step percentage. Personally, I like to have my grid step percentage, 0.2 to 0.3. No higher, otherwise you need more movement to actually have trades open and close. And I know you really should set it, above market structure and below market structure, but you don't want them too far apart. Otherwise your funds are dispersed over too wide of a range and those funds will never actually come into play, which means you've got funds sitting there doing nothing too often, which would mean you'd make a smaller percentage. I'm just measuring here the distance between the lower and the upper, and it's almost 15%. So what we're talking about here is we're wanting the market to range within a 15% range. That's relatively small. It most likely would not want to go smaller than that, but that gives me my step percentage of 0.21. If I had a bigger range and still only 60 grid levels, my step percentage would be higher and it would require more movement to have trades open and close and therefore make profit. All right, so that's what those settings are. what they have down here is all the back test results, all the various different pairs that there are. Now, these aren't pairs that I've personally chosen to trade, but as you can see, if you were trading gas Bitcoin on the settings here, if I click on this, it'll show me those settings. So if you were trading it over the last month, you would have made 23% profit. That definitely doesn't mean that next month you will make the same profit, because it all depends on the market movement. But if you want to see what sort of settings were used in order to get those results, you just simply click on it, scroll up here and have a look. So they've used 65 grid levels, and which gives them a 0.3% step range. And now what I like to do is I'm going to measure the distance and see what sort of distance they have between their upper and lower, which is 21%. So a little bit more than I had on my own personal one. But, you know, that just gives you an idea of what sort of settings were used to make that sort of profit. Now, when you originally come to set it, you can just change your upper and lower limits just like that, nice and easy. And you'll see if I bring this one right down here, the grid steps stayed the same, but my grid levels went down. But if I then up that back to 65 where it was, you'll see that gives me that smaller grid level. As a rough idea, the smaller the grid step percentage, the less movement you need in order to take profits and have various trades open and close. So that's what all of the back testing results are here. And apparently there's 637 of them there, so pick whichever one you like. But you can also test your own. So let's say, whatever, just pick yourself a pair, BNB F. Okay, so we've picked that one, and let's give it 80 grid levels. And as I said, you know, you want to pick it a bit above market price, but you want them around about there. Okay, so that's giving me a smaller grid step. Before it was showing 0.7, that was way too high in my opinion. So I've just changed that. That's still a fair sort of a distance between. That's 25%. You know, so that to me looks reasonable. A good number of grid levels, a small enough step. So now what we can do is we can come down here and we can click back test, and it's going to show us the results. Now, I'm personally not sure how accurate these are, because it's always, when I've done it, it seems to be a bit smaller than I expect, and even smaller than my own actual results have shown. But that's how that feature works. I haven't been using it though. I've just been running a pair and seeing how the results go. But they have all those features. That's about it, I think, guys. Yep, as I was saying, just all about accumulating how much Bitcoin and Ethereum I have there at the moment. The dollar value doesn't worry me. Nobody likes to see the red ones, but it's just no different to holding it. It will always look that way at times. Okay, cheers.